Okay, hi everyone. This is to go through your GA1 review, okay, in preparation for your WA. This will be printed for you to collect on Monday. So don't worry about copying everything. The corrections, you should focus on what's missing and why you are missing those stuff. All right. Now, as I go through, I'll be telling you about what we need to modify and why I'm more strict as compared to the answer key. All right. Let's go through. Okay. Oops, let me just adjust this. All right. Now, first thing first, describing the trend, generally quite well done. Okay. What are some of the common mistakes? All right. Firstly, a lot of you forgot your adjective. I know your answer key don't have it, but please add it in. Okay. So from the start to the end, what kind of increase is it? All right. So since it increased by more than 50%, it is considered a huge increase. Okay. Generally a huge increase. Okay, for this answer key, it separates the mark, but actually I would prefer, for O levels, is better. General evidence will be 1 mark together. All right, many of you managed to calculate the percentage correctly. Okay, so that's not issue. It doesn't matter how many decimal place lah. All right, so we don't split hair over it. But what is good, what is better writing or as a safety net is that most of you should actually quote the numbers and tell me what is the difference and then the percentage. Okay, you can find shorter ways to write than this. You can say 2000, so you can say that it increases from, there is a huge increase from 2000 to 2011, okay, from 155 to 2481 earthquakes, which is an increase of how many percent? All right. Now, why do I insist that you put in a number? I didn't mark anyone wrong, but why you put in a number? Because if your percentage is wrong, at least you can depend on the number as a backup. Okay. So you can tell me by how many earthquakes. That would have been better. Okay. So then next, the significant ones. All right. So the greatest change and the slowest and the smallest increase. Okay. Most of you get the idea, but you didn't pick the correct one. Okay. Now I'm not expecting you to calculate every single one, but visually you can see 2006 to 2007 is the biggest increase. All right. And the smallest increase, of course, there's some people think that it could be this. Sorry, it could be 2005, 2006. It can be 2002 and 2003. All right. Now, if I present the graph without any numbers, if you choose 2005 to 2006 or 2002 to 2003, I will accept it because visually it looks similar. Okay, and then because you have to read from here using the axis, everybody will have a slightly different number, so it's not fair to you to be able to calculate exactly which is the smallest increase. Okay, but for this graph, you are given the number, so you can verify which is the smallest increase. Okay, so this is the smallest increase, which is why many of you lost marks. You pick the wrong years, or you calculate wrongly. Okay, lastly, anomaly is quite well done. Most of you can identify the decrease, so not much of an issue. Okay, so 1 mark for general. So you will see in the marking, 1 mark for G is for general. Okay, S1 is for the highest increase. Okay, S2 is the lowest increase. And then A is for the anomaly. Okay. All right, now let's move on to the next question. Question part B. Okay, use figure 2, explain the impacts of the tsunami on natural and human systems. Okay, most of you, what are you good at? You are good at telling me what is the natural, what's the effect on the natural systems. Okay, so like for example, as the humans one are done better. So for example, a lot of you say that because the fast moving waters can flood, debris can sweep away buildings, then people have to evacuate and disrupt lives and community, or disrupt the services to them, okay? Or the deaths will cause trauma and things like that, all right? For the human one, many of you were able to be very specific what in the tsunami caused these effects. Like for example, the sweeping water will drown people, or the debris will go and kill people, or destroy buildings and things like that, okay? What is done not so well was the natural system, all right? There's a lot of confusion between biodiversity, collapse of ecosystem, and destruction of ecosystem. Okay, now if I kill wildlife, killing does not cause the system, does not remove biodiversity. Less animals doesn't mean less biodiversity, because biodiversity refers to the variety of species. Okay, so if I kill the animal until there's from 100 to 10 of such species, As long as the species doesn't go extinct, the biodiversity is not affected. All right? So to argue for a decrease in biodiversity, you must say how the species go extinct. Hence the collapse of ecosystem. Okay? But the easier way to argue here can be how it damages habitats, or the habitats get destroyed. So when the habitat is destroyed, the ecosystem in the area is destroyed. Okay? So that would be a much easier way to argue if you want to go by the natural system. Okay? Second problem, a lot of you did not use figure 2. Okay, so which are the areas that's affected? A lot of you just say Somalia, India. Is it the whole country? Okay, so at least tell me that it is the coastal areas that is being that's receiving all this impact. You need not list down every single country, but at least give me some like groupings, like for example, Southeast Asia and South Asia, things like that. Okay, lastly, all right, some of you are using earthquake terms. Epicenter refers to the earthquake, not tsunami. Tsunamis don't have epicenter. Okay, so this epicenter refers to the epicenter of the earthquake that transferred energy to the tsunami, to the waters that create tsunami at that spot. Okay, so this is where the tsunami started spreading. Okay, so 4 marks, 2 marks to explain natural impact on natural system, 2 marks to explain impact on the human system, and you must show use of figure 2. Tell me to what, where exactly is affected. No need all the country, but at least tell me coastal areas in the countries that receives it, and of course, what exactly caused the damage and the impact. Okay, I will move on to part C. Part C not bad, but part C not well done because people are not answering the question. Okay, now you can ignore this, all right, because there's some changes, and I'll type out the changes. Okay, it's still largely this, all right. First thing first, the question asks you to describe. They didn't ask you to explain. So you must tell me details, more things about the hazard. You're not supposed to explain the steps that lead to the effect on the natural and human systems. Okay, so next you need to take note, it asks for hazards. So you cannot just tell me one, you must tell me multiple hazards. All right, so what are the hazards that you can see? Next, figure 3. A lot of you tell me there's forest destroyed, buildings destroyed. Hello, where's the forest and where's the buildings in the picture? It's not here. Okay, so what are the hazards you can see? Pyroclastic flow, very clearly. So we talk about tephra, ash. Okay, so if you're able to tell me more about the hazard, 1 mark. So each hazard is 1 mark. Okay, and if you're able to tell me the impact on natural system, 1 mark. Impact on human system, 1 mark. Okay, and it can be a case where we are just reserving marks. So it can be a case of 1 hazard affecting 1. All right, instead of 1 hazard affecting 2. Okay, so first thing you must tell me what is the hazard about. Some of you just say pyroclastic flow will burn. Why does it burn? You must first tell me that it's a hot cloud. Okay, and then it consists of gas, ash, and then it's also rocks. All right, a lot of you forgot about the rocks. Okay, so how does it kill people? Okay, so the answer key mentioned buildings and forests. Please remove them and replace it. So you can say that how the rocks can actually crush people, and it will be even better if you are specific. What area? A lot of you write as if the whole area is the whole area, whether the pyroclastic flow reach it or not, will be burnt. Okay, so use words like in its path and things like that. All right. So I'm not awarding more just for this, but I'm saying that sorry, it's actually these 2. Okay. So destroying the trees that's in its path. All right. Now, some of you burning huge areas of trees. Okay. Now, some of you wrote as if that, the animals receive the ash and then the eyes get gummed or they suffocate. Hello, they'll be burnt to death first before they get all these effects of the ash. Okay. Yes, after the pyroclastic flow has left, it will leave behind a layer of ash. But to say that it is this ash that suffocates them, are you telling me they're immune to the heat? Okay, so it's the burning that matters. All right, so tell you talk about tephra, add on talk about tephra. Okay, yes, tephra also matters. Okay, so second method, so tephra can be ejected, okay, as ash4. Okay, so how is it a hazard? So things like how it suffocates, okay, lands on plants and suffocate or pollute, okay, or how it causes respiratory diseases. These are things that you can talk about. All right. Now I know they use the term natural and human systems, but they didn't ask you to explain. So there is no need for you to tell me, okay, from then on, after they kill people, how does it then affect human system? No need. The main thing is to describe the hazard. So describing means you must give me the details, you must show me the characteristics that will lead to this. Okay, so the focus is on giving me the details, what exactly about the hazard that led to all these things, rather than showing me the steps. All right. Now, if there's no issue, let's move on to the last question, part 2. Okay, part 2 is generally well done. Most of you could look at economic impact. Okay, but you miss out some parts of the question. Okay, number 1, the question asks why people choose to do so. So that means it is an individual choice. That means they should be receiving economic benefits at the individual scale. You should not be telling me about economic impacts on the whole village or on the whole country. Okay. Next, a lot of you, some of you who didn't do so well, because you forgot to tell me in detail what is the role of the volcano. All right. So, for example, some of you just say fertile soil can produce high crop yield. Okay. So, what is the role of volcano? The role is that it can break down and form fertile soil. Okay, and takes thousands of years. All right. Now, some of you wrote like as if it's instant, or some of you wrote as if volcanic rocks are what farmers will spray onto the crops for fertilizing. Okay, so the rocks will crush the crops first if they spray. Okay, so the main idea is that how the rocks and the ash will break down, release minerals that will form the fertile soil. Okay, next, please make this edit. Okay, high yield means high amount, not variety. Okay, so the main idea should be benefit from, what is it that they can benefit? They can benefit from growing more crops. Okay, or growing more crops, or having a higher, or what can they do with the higher yield? Okay, so hence they can sell the crops and earn a higher income. Okay, a lot of you did not talk about how they benefit. You just said higher yield leads to higher income. How did higher yield lead to higher income? The crops pay the farmer, is it? Okay, so please explain properly. All right, precious minerals. So you need, the magma need not erupt. Okay, a lot of times the magma is under the volcano and it forms the precious minerals. Okay, but it doesn't matter. We didn't penalize anyone. Okay, but some of you forgot what's the benefit. So how they can mine and sell. Okay, to sell, then provides a source of income. Some of you went a bit more steps. You talk about how the companies will hire them. Also can, but the main idea is to show me how they can earn an income. Okay. Tourism, let me jump to the last one because there's lesser things to explain for this one. A lot of you didn't bother to explain why tourism activities can happen there. A lot of you just say tectonic environments can have tourists. Why? They pray for fortune, is it, or pray for WA results? Okay, so the idea of how it is attractive, what appeals it. You need not mention creator. You can say the scenic beauty. You can talk about the hot springs, whatever. I don't care what you say, but please unpack and give a bit more details on why is it attractive. Okay, some of it implied by saying that these are the activities they do. So okay, fine, I can understand why it attracts tourists. Okay, now lastly, for this part, the explanation for benefits is not so good. A lot of you say that they can, because of this, they can provide employment opportunities, full stop. How? Okay, it's not clear how. So you can say things like they are tour guides for the tourists, they provide accommodation, they sell things, and then which provides a source of income. The economic benefit must come in. Okay. Now, the one that's done very poorly was for geothermal. Okay, a lot of you, this is what you say. All right. Geothermal energy is derived from heat. First, you never tell me what is geothermal energy. All right. So a lot of people say geothermal energy is harvesting the steam. No, geothermal means that there's heat in the crust because of tectonically active area. Okay. Now, if you're even more specific to say that, because the magma has intruded into the crust or has risen into the crust to heat up the rocks, also can. Okay. Now, steam is then formed and harnessed to generate electricity. Some of you go and write as if the locals will collect the steam and make electricity at home on themselves. Okay. Now, next, why is it cheaper? A lot of you did not mention why. All right. So either benefit will do. This is also fine, but nobody wrote this. But why is it that the electricity is cheaper? Okay, benefit from cheaper electricity produced locally, as the power plants need not import more fuel, need not purchase fossil fuels to generate electricity, and instead rely on almost free heat source. Okay, so this will explain why it is cheaper, which many of you did not talk about and expand on. Okay, but generally quite, so those of you who lose a lot of marks for here, please write the steps clearly. Okay, now it's not that you are being particular that you must be every single steps, but you know, when people read, it must at least make sense and not have missing steps. Okay, so I hope this clarifies, and if there's any questions, please seek us for consultation.